Welcome to the CJ Moneyway Sh podcast, the podcast show where we unlock potential one dream at a time. Today, we have another guest whose journey is truly worth hearing. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the Moneyway experience.
What's up, my good people? Welcome to the CJ Moneyway Show in association with Believe Network and GI, the state's capital, the animated series created by your boy, CJ Moneyway. Today, I got my man, Kevin, CSO, founder and host of Next Level University, a top 100 global self-improvement podcast. Kevin shares his powerful story of hitting rock bottom and how he rebuilt his life to become a successful entrepreneur and podcast host, impacting millions worldwide. Hey, welcome to the show, my man, Kev. What's up, Kev?
CJ, I told you behind the scenes. I got to say it here, too. Living the dream. I appreciate you having me. I'm excited to chat.
Oh, man, I appreciate you coming on today. Cool. So, Kev, man, we talk about hitting rock bottom, man. So, I guess I want to ask you, what was your life like before you actually hit rock bottom?
It was the life that I think most people think they aspire to. I was making really good money. My girlfriend at the time was a model. I was getting ready to compete in a bodybuilding show, so I was quite literally in the best shape I will ever be in. Nice car, new apartment, great friends. From the outside looking in, I was quote unquote successful. And I think that's what makes rock bottom so hard to hit, is you're afraid that everybody's going to realize that you're hitting it. So nobody knew. And that was by design. That was not by accident. I didn't want anybody to know that I was struggling. So yeah, it looked really good and really shiny.
Man, you had a model girlfriend, my man had money, and all of a sudden the bottom fell out, huh? Hey, that's the story of a lot of our lives, man. So let me ask you, Kev, man, can you share the moment when everything just changed for you?
Yeah, my girlfriend sat me down and she said, look, you're a shell of yourself. You're not the man I fell in love with, and you're not the person I think that can support me in my goals and in my dreams and in my aspirations. I'm leaving. And she said something that really highlighted where I was at, CJ. She said, I was going to tell you last month, but I was afraid you might kill yourself. That moment, and she didn't say it in a negative way. This is something I needed to hear. That moment for me was, how the heck did we get here? How did it get as far gone as it seems? That changed the trajectory of my life forever. But see, that was my initial rock bottom. Unfortunately, I found out the next year that rock bottom has a basement. But that was the initial of, I lost the person I was in love with. I won my bodybuilding show, but I had an eating disorder for sure, and depression and anxiety that I can't even describe. And work got really slow when she left, and she left me with all the bills. So that was a really interesting time in my life where everything went from seemingly really good to, in reality, very bad very quickly. And then somehow eventually got even worse than that.
Man, he say the bottom had a basement to it. That was a good one, man. Hey, so you say she left you with the bills, but then again, you know, it's the mental aspect too, you know, of everything else that you're going through and trying to piece everything together, man. So I want to hear more about it, how you put this together, man. So let me ask you, Kev, man, how did that experience shape your perspective on success and happiness?
I realized that success and happiness are more external than anything. Fulfillment, I think, is what we actually aspire to, and fulfillment doesn't always look like success. I told you, CJ, before we got on and went live here, before this, I had back-to-back-to-back podcasts. My voice is going to be hoarse. I'm tired as heck. That doesn't look successful. But it's extremely fulfilling. I researched your show. I think I had to reschedule and I messed it up. So I researched you and I was like, oh, I can't wait to chat with CJ. I'm super excited. When I get to the end of the day today, I don't know that I'm going to feel quote unquote successful, but I do know that I'm going to feel fulfilled. I'm going to feel proud, and I'm going to be excited with what I created. I think that's more success than anything now. And having all the things externally, but having nothing internally, that kind of showed me that without internal fulfillment, external success is just empty. Doesn't mean anything.
Man, and you know what, man, first I want to appreciate you, you know what I'm saying, for the shout out, man. You say you researched my show, and like, man, I want to holler at CJ, but you know, that says a lot. Yeah, and I thank you for that, man, because being where you are for somebody that, you know what I'm saying, feel that way about you, it says a lot. But I will also say this too. Like I worked 16 hours the last 2 days. I just got off work at 2:00. I got to go back at 10. But as you just said, I'm looking through your profile and this and that, because I thought I had you on yesterday, be honest. So I was waiting for you yesterday. And I happened to look at my calendar today. I'm like, oh man, I had Kev today. And when I'm going through it, I'm like, man, I perked up. I don't care how tired I am. I got to go to bed when I get done, but hey, my man got an interesting story. Kev got a top 100 self-improvement podcast, man. I got to holler at my man. So, hey, man, same to you, bro. So let me ask Kev, man, rebuilding and resilience. What motivated you to dive into this self-improvement movement that you went into?
Yeah, I realized that for most of my life, I had lived unconsciously. That was the thing for me. So the year after my girlfriend left me, I said, I'm going to make as much money as possible, and that's going to fix all my problems. And again, raise your hand if you fall into that trap. My hand is the highest for sure. I made $100,000 that year. I spent 10 months living on the road because I had a construction job and we traveled all over the place. And I remember when I opened my final pay stub, I expected to feel different. I didn't feel, my bank account looked good, and that was a feeling, but it was not changing me internally like I thought. I realized for most of my life, I had lived unconsciously. The opposite of unconscious is hyperconscious. So I wanted to live hyperconsciously, and that was it. And so I started a podcast in 2017, and I just wanted to have cool conversations with cool people. That was it. I want to talk about what you're afraid of. I want to talk about your dreams. I want to talk about all that stuff. And then I fell in love with that, and the benefits of talking about growth and talking about self-improvement and personal development, you get to get better for a living. So then I kind of fell in love with that. And now I feel like it's the cheat code. I talk about growth every day. I'm somebody who really wants to lead from the front. I cannot talk about it if I'm not doing it. So then I kind of handcuffed myself into growing every day for the rest of my life. And now I've had a lot of results based on that. So yeah, it was all of that and the fact that I always wanted to be quote unquote successful, holistically well-rounded. I just never knew how to do it. So it almost felt like I had stumbled upon the cheat code and I just didn't want to lose it. I wanted to hang on to it for as long as I could.
Hey hustlers, I'm CJ Moneyway. And if you're building a team to grow your business, let me introduce you to ZipRecruiter. Their AI-powered platform finds the right talent fast, posting your job to over 100 job sites with just one click. I've seen how their smart matching delivers quality candidates in 24 hours. Perfect for job seekers like you, scaling brick by brick. Try it free at ZipRecruiter.com/click. Use code CJMoney for an exclusive deal. That's ZipRecruiter.com/click. Hire your hustle today. Now back to the show.
Man, I like that. I like that. To get better. So let me ask you, man, I ain't had this on my question, but I'm going to ask you because you said something. What's one method that you use where you say that you help improve yourself daily?
We track habits every single day. So I have a Google Sheet that has podcast listens, dollars earned, all my stuff, all of my, how many days I've exercised in the quarter. I'm at 94% of the days I've exercised this quarter. Every day we post on social media. Every day we do the story. Every day I do a podcast episode. So my life is essentially on a spreadsheet. And that spreadsheet is the X marks the spot for the treasure map. And I just make sure every day I look at that and I make sure I'm making meaningful progress towards my goals. I think one of the hardest things is many of us struggle with clarity. I don't know what to do. I don't know when to do it. And I don't know how to do it. Once we lock those in, it's about just doing them consistently, right? If I just do a podcast episode every day forever, I'm probably going to get pretty good at podcasting.
Yeah.
And eventually maybe I'll be one of the best because I'm just doing it more. So yeah, I would say the habit of habit tracking has probably changed my life more than anything other than probably mentorship.
I like that. Habit tracking.
That's
a good one. My man Kev out here, man, dropping nuggets, man. Dropping nuggets. Hey, let me ask Kev, man, how did start reshaping your mindset and your habits actually change since we're talking about habits?
So in the very beginning, I was somebody who thought books were stupid, CJ. I remember the first book I ever read was Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Mhm.
I listened to it on audio while playing MLB The Show on PlayStation 4. That's how committed, quote unquote, I was to growth. The thing that was pivotal for me was I read a book called Mindsets by Carol Dweck.
Mhm.
And that book is all about the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. And when she was talking about fixed mindsets and how you think every failure is the end of the world and you have to be in control of every situation and you're afraid to look bad and all that, I remember self-identifying and saying, oh my goodness, that's me. So that book really helped me understand where I was actually at. And then I did something that we call, and again, this is a habit that I would track at the time. It's called fear chasing. So every single day I would try to do something that was outside of my comfort zone that scared me. That taught me that if I did make a mistake, it wasn't the end of the world. If I got rejected, it wasn't the end of the world. And that helped me really adopt a growth mindset of every day is kind of like practice. There really isn't a Super Bowl because the Super Bowl is the end of the season. There is no end of the season in life until you get to the end.
Mhm.
So it helped me understand that a lot of the things that I think are really high stakes, they're not that big in the grand scheme of things. In this moment right now, this interview is the only thing that matters to me. This conversation is the only thing that matters. But if I mess up and I misspeak or I forget what I'm thinking, it's not that big of a deal, right? I'll go do another podcast tomorrow. I'll get back on the horse and hopefully I'll do better. So that was a very big mindset shift. I used to have a very fixed mindset. Now I have a way more growth mindset. And now I look like an idiot all the time and I make mistakes all the time and I'm wrong all the time and it doesn't kill me and
Yeah.
it most likely isn't going to kill anybody else. And I think that's an important understanding.
Man, I like that. Because that's life. That's how it is, man. Because as you said earlier, and you tie that into this point here, the more you do something, the more you become comfortable with yourself,
Mhm.
the more you start finding yourself in your niche, with people, you able to relate in certain type of ways, icebreakers and things. You just find that out. You don't know that when you first start. You just doing it,
Yeah.
But once you start getting the niche, man, and start being more comfortable with what you're doing, everything get better because you do have some of them days, like, man, I messed that whole thing up. Or, I may have missed a call. Sometimes things happen, but like you
Of
say,
course.
man, it didn't kill him. So with that success, man, let me ask you, man, I got to ask, Kev, how did you scale a podcast to reach 1 million people?
Well, one, we've done 2,091 episodes as of today. So just quantity. There's a lot of quantity. The best answer is I've essentially dedicated my life to this. I left my full-time job in 2018 after dealing with suicidal ideation. We treated this like it was a startup where I went into $30,000 of credit card debt. I got sent to collections because I couldn't pay my car insurance. I couldn't afford to buy my now wife Christmas presents. I mean, we invested everything into this. And we grinded our faces off and we worked really hard and we were consistent. It's really the most simple answer without tactics is it was the only thing. It was the only thing. And honestly, that's the reason we got here is because we just kept showing up and we kept trying to get better. It's not, I have the pleasure and the privilege and the opportunity to work with a lot of podcasters. And I say this all the time. Consistency is not a strategy, it is a requirement. You can't just be consistent and win. It doesn't work anymore. You have to be consistent and get consistently better. And that has been our obsession. We started out in my living room and then we went to my business partner's mother's house and we had a studio in her basement for a while. And then we grew and it was all of that. And then from a tactical perspective, we got really good at figuring out who our audience was. We would have conversations. I would give out my cell phone number. I would do FaceTime calls with our listeners, all of that. And then we figured out how to serve our audience at a deeper level through coaching. That created a little bit of a revenue stream, which allowed us to bring people on. And then we could delegate the things that we weren't the best at and build a team and boom, boom, boom. And eventually it gets to the place where you only do your genius zone. There's nobody on the team who has done as many podcast episodes as I have. So I got to be here doing this. But while I do this, just like any other business, somebody is posting in a Facebook group. Somebody is editing audio. Somebody is editing video. So I think the simplest answer is we treated it like a business long before it was one. And I think that's a mistake that a lot of us make is we think, oh, eventually it'll get to the place where all this happens. No, we reverse engineered most of what we have today. And I think that's really important because a lot of people, they don't tell you that. Now, I will say I am way more successful than I thought I would be. That is, I'm being very honest about that. But that's because my business partner is a genius and he's a math genius and an engineer. Like he knows what he's doing. He's got a master's in business. So I'm very lucky to have somebody who knew way more than I did about all this. And I was able to be a good number two.
I like that, man. Yeah, man. Trust me, bro. I'm listening to you, because it's the grind. It's the building brick by brick motto, and people don't know, and that's one of my mottos here. People can see Kev where he is now today. Successful entrepreneur, podcast, just jumping off the charts, 1 million people, but they don't know what it took for you to get there. Like, like the topic of what we're going through. I was at rock bottom.
Yeah. Even what I'm still going through, CJ. We did an episode and we were talking about this. I get up at 6 a.m. every day. And then essentially Monday through Friday, I work 12, 14, 16-hour days almost every day. So even today when I'm quote unquote successful, I work more than I used to. So I don't know what's harder, accomplishing and creating success or sustaining and maintaining it. That's something that is one of those things where I think a lot of people think, well, when you get quote unquote successful, everything works. I'm not that level of successful where I can walk away and this is all just going to run itself. Like that's not going to happen maybe ever for what we're trying to build. And I just think that's really important. I've been at it since 6 a.m. It is 5 p.m. right now. I got another call after this. I got to make sure I check my emails, my WhatsApp. So even to this day, externally, we look successful. But behind the scenes, we are freaking grinding. And it's important that that gets pushed to the front of the scenes. I say this all the time to people, and I don't mean this from a place of ego. I could give a lot of people the keys to the kingdom. You can have my seat. Here's the microphone. I'll put the headphones on. You don't want it. You don't want it. What it takes to maintain it is just absolute mayhem. And it's just not good for everybody.
I like that, man. Because like you say, and I think I got it on the screen right here, I was thinking about doing a volume book next year about mic'd up and locked in about the life behind a podcaster, like the things that you have to do. It's not just, as you say, cut on the camera, do a show, go to the next one. No, because there's show notes, there's like you say, social media. It's different avenues that you have to do to put one show together. One. And then when you're doing it by yourself, it's brick by brick until you get to that place where you just said, well, I was fortunate enough to have a guy that knew more than I did. And I was a good number two. And so, but you had to put in the work before you got there. And by the time you got there, you had all the pieces there. They just needed to be put into the right place. I'm listening to you, Kev, bro. I'm listening to you, man. I'm here, man. I'm here. Next level university, brother.
I got you, baby. I got you.
So let me ask you, Kev, man. What role did consistency and commitment play in your transformation?
Ooh, commitment is I was willing to trade in so many of the parts of me that I was comfortable with and I felt safe with that were no longer serving me. I was committed to saying, look, this is not good for me. This is not good for my growth. And this is not the man that I want to be. I was committed to that. The identity level pain that you go through when you're growing like that is just something that a lot of people don't talk about. So I was willing to go through that. There was a point where I was having massive panic attacks for the first time I had ever had them. And I literally thought I was dying. And it was like, well, if this is how we go, at least I'm chasing my dream. So when I say I would die for this, I'm not saying that to sound cool. Like I am all in on this. There's my amazing wife, and then there's the podcast. Like those are the two things that are most important to me. And then the consistency aspect of it, I think most of us are consistent. We just don't create that consistency in the most constructive direction. So it is just at this point become an identity. I am the type of person who is consistent. And if I want to do something every day, I can find a way to do it. Luckily, I've been able to build that muscle over and over and over. And honestly, for me, CJ, I probably come across as somebody who's very confident. The only reason I am any level of confident is because of the consistency of doing this. I mean, this is where I feel the most comfortable. I don't really care what I look like. I'm so used to seeing myself. I'm so used to my voice. I don't even think about it. And this is where I lose sight of myself and I get into flow. But going back to what we talked about, I have done this more consistently than I've done anything else other than probably exercise. Is it any coincidence that the two places I feel the most confident are the gym and here? No. So consistency starts as a habit. It starts as a behavior. And then eventually it is who you become. And then it becomes part of your identity. So now it's part of my identity and probably one of the biggest, most positive pieces as well. So I'm very privileged to have that. But without the commitment and without the consistency, all of this fades away into nothing.
I like it, man. And I was laughing because you said when you were talking about, you all in, I was talking to a guy. I got a friend I met doing a podcast from Sacramento, my man, Greg Rogers. And, we've been talking ever since we did the interview. So we've become buddies and we got dreams and aspirations. That's what you're talking about. And he was telling me about, he all in on this, about what he was doing. I said, I feel you, man. I had to let him know I'm all in too. I'm like, I got kings over queens. He better have 4 aces over there. If he got a better hand than me, then so be it. But I'm all in on this, brother. You know what I'm saying? That. Because I got a winning hand. But sometimes a winning hand can lose. But I'm giving it all. Hey, push me in the middle. Hey, so let me ask you, Kev, man. Can you break down for us your heart-driven but no BS approach to personal growth?
Yeah, so heart-driven is I will tell you the truth because I care about you to the deepest of levels. All right, I want to tell you from the heart because I really, really care. The no BS part is I'm going to give you like the real truth. And essentially that's what I'm trying to do. So I could very easily say, yeah, we posted some episodes and we got some big guests and then we got, no. The fact is I worked every day at this harder than I've worked at anything else. And maybe you want to do the same, but also maybe you don't if you really know what it takes. I just think there's so much garbage advice out there. There's something I call snuggie self-improvement. Snuggie self-improvement, CJ, is the type of self-improvement that's made to make you feel good, not do good. Now, I think there's a time and a place for that. If you're at rock bottom, I think it's really important to feel good and then you can work your way through the behavior level. But there's the 4-hour work week and there's all these books about how you can do less and become more. And honestly, that just isn't really true. And I want to make sure that I'm accurate in what it has taken to build this, because if not, I'm doing you a disservice. I'm lying. If I say this was easy, I'm lying. If I say everybody can do it the way we have, it's not true. And I don't ever want to come across as somebody who is arrogant or doesn't care about people. I don't ever want that to be the thing. So I'm trying to walk that line of how do I tell the truth from my experience of what's been the truth from hopefully a balanced place so people know I actually care. If you want to have what we have, I want you to have what we have as long as it's what's best for you. How do I juggle that? That's something I'm working on in real time, and I most likely will be forever, honestly.
2 things out of that. I like the BS approach because that goes to personal life as well. I'm going to tell you the truth, bro. You know what I'm saying? Whether you like it or not, however you receive, I'm going to tell you the truth. But then the second part is I was just watching something about Mr. Beast the other day. And so don't be unapologetic because Mr. Beast said that, would there ever be anybody that come up, saying like him or do what he did? He said, there would never be another me. There would never be another somebody that can do what I'm doing because I'm finna do it for another 20, 25 years. So nobody will ever match what I'm doing. So Kev, I'm telling you the same, man. Keep doing what you're doing, bro. You ain't arrogant. You just doing your thing, man. And I love it. I love it. So let me ask you, Kev, man, what advice do you have for someone stuck at their own rock bottom right now?
Reach out to somebody who you think can help you get out of the mud. I think it's hard because if you are at rock bottom, you're most likely not thinking logically, you're thinking emotionally. luckily for me, I had someone, my business partner, who I felt safe reaching out to. I think you got to reach out to someone and allow somebody to give you a different perspective than the one that you're able to see for yourself. That, understand that most likely the moment will pass, most likely the feelings will pass, most likely there is a tomorrow, and it's probably brighter than today. And even if you're not going through rock bottom, even if right now, like CJ and I we're vibing right now, we're high vibe, we feel good, now is the time to build the vulnerable friendships and the vulnerable relationships. I think what is very common is we wait until we walk out into the thunderstorm to build the umbrella. I had already built the umbrella with my buddy. I could reach out to him. It didn't seem impossible. It didn't seem like there was too much resistance. So if you are struggling, I think it's time to reach out. If you're not struggling, now is the time to build a relationship with the people that you'll be able to reach out if and when you do start to struggle, because life is challenging and we're all going to have rough days. And I think rough days get a little less rough if you have the right people to reach out to.
Hey, CJ Moneyway Show fans. Coming up, I'm spilling the secret to hiring top talent with ZipRecruiter. AI that works as hard as you do. Stick around for details at ZipRecruiter.com/click. Use code CJMoney for a free trial. Let's get to it. Try it free at ZipRecruiter.com/click. Use code CJMoney for an exclusive deal. That's ZipRecruiter.com/click. Hire your hustle today. Now back to the show.
We all need somebody to lean on. Hey, for real, man. Just call on me, brother, when you need a friend. Hey, so Kev, man, only got one more question for you. But I do have this game that I've been playing, man. It's been kind of hot, got it the quick fire round. I'm going to ask you 5 questions and you give me the first thing that come to your mind. Now, normally my guests, they get a little nervous when we get to this part, but man, somebody that's on the stage that you on, this is a piece of cake, my brother. Hey, so let me ask you, man. Hey, now, Kev, tell us, where can we find you at, man? And what's this famous podcast name, man? Let us know, bro.
Yeah, so the podcast is called Next Level University. We're on all the podcast platforms. We're on YouTube. And if you just search Next Level University, we'll come up. And then the website is nextleveluniverse.com. It has all the stuff, all the different stuff that we offer. So Next Level University is the podcast. Next Level Universe is the website.
Okay. Well, y'all got that? I got it, because I'm finna sign up for everywhere Kev at, man. Kev finna be my friend. Hey, so Kev, let me ask you, man, why is unlearning just as important as learning?
To me, when you are unlearning, you are getting down to the foundation, as opposed to when you're learning, you're putting new information on previously existing information that might not be correct. So for many of us, much of what we know was downloaded without our permission. You remember when if you had like iTunes, it automatically downloaded the U2 album?
Yeah, it would give you free. Yeah.
You know how many people were pissed about that? Like everybody. Nobody wanted the U2.
Because I always fast forwarded it myself.
That's what I'm saying. So
yeah. That's how it came out.
I think for a lot of us, many of the thoughts we have are ones that were given to us from our family or our friends or our school or our teachers or whatever. So I think one of the important things to think about is, of the thoughts I have, of the knowledge I have, of the things that I have learned so far, how many of those should I unlearn in order to get to the next level? And I think it's just getting down to bedrock. It's just getting down to the foundation. I had a lot of misbeliefs. Well, in order to correct a misbelief, I must first recognize that one exists. So I started there, and then it was like, all right, let me focus on learning. Let me focus on digesting new information, boom, boom, boom. But yeah, I think for a lot of us, it's not just about the information we take in. It's about the misinformation that we get rid of.
I like that. I'll never forget, Joyce Meyer said something to that effect, that you have to let go of everything in you, because we take in so much in order to get the new stuff to be able to fit, because you gotta let go of the old, bring in the new. But sometimes we get to the point where we just can't let certain things go, man. Hey,
it's not easy.
It ain't easy, because, like you say, it's habits. So you can have good habits and you can have bad habits. My man Kev telling you get on that good habit diet, man. So Kev, man, you ready for this quick fire round, bro?
You know it, CJ. I've been ready.
All right, man. Since we talking about habits, happen to be the first question. Daily habit. What's one daily habit that transformed your life?
Fitness. Going to the gym first thing in the morning. It's great for the mindset. It's great for stress. It's great for everything. Fitness, 10 out of 10.
Fitness, 10 out of 10, without a doubt. Fear. How do you face your fears today compared to before?
I break them into small, bite-sized, digestible pieces, and then I face them, as opposed to in the past, I turned around and I ran as fast as humanly possible away from them.
I know that feeling. I know that feeling. Because even in the accountability stage, I'm running away from that too until you have to start owning that, and then you can be, as we finna talk about, what next question I'm finna ask, consistency. What's your top tip for staying consistent in your journey?
Make it easy and or create necessity where it is less painful to do the thing than it is not to do the thing.
Mm-hmm. Now, let me ask you this, Kevin, Mr. Beast. Confidence. How can someone build real, lasting confidence?
Stop breaking the small promises to yourself that you're making. So all confidence really is you state that you're going to do something, you prove to yourself that you're capable of doing that thing through action, and then you self-assign by saying, I said I was going to do it, I did it, now I can feel good about it, and then next time you're going to do something a little bit bigger than you did previously, and if you run that forever, you will build confidence because you're proving to yourself that you're more capable than you've given credit for.
Something I told my mother not too long ago. Did something in 2015. Okay. Came back, did something in 2023. Bigger than that. Working on something right now. It'd be a little doubt. I'd be like, okay, everything I've done in the last 10 years have come to pass. Because once I set my mind to it, it come to pass. So I like that, Kev, man. So one more, man. Yeah, I got confidence too. I ain't got Kev, Mr. Beast confidence, but I got CJ Moneyway confidence, baby. Hey, so let me ask you, Kev, man. Motivation. What keeps you motivated to keep growing?
That's always a tough one because I'm not as motivated as you think. The downsides of me not continuing to go are just way higher. So I don't always want to do it. I don't always feel like doing it. I'm always grateful I did. And I try to lead with that emotion. And honestly, this is the dream. I literally was a podcaster who wanted to be a full-time podcaster, who wanted to be my own boss. I try to stay heavy with gratitude. I try to stay heavy with perspective and remember that I do have the privilege of living a life that a lot of people want to live. If I actually want that, I got to show up and earn it every day. So I'm probably not the most motivated person that you've seen, and I'm probably not as motivated as you think. I'm very consistent and I know what needs to be done. And I think I feel the responsibility of making sure that I do that.
I like that, man. Staying true to yourself. No BS. Cause if I ain't gonna BS you, I can't BS myself. Keep it at 100. Hey, Kev, man, give us a final thought, man, on our way out.
Oh, the biggest difference between the person you are today and the person you want to become is your habits. We talked a lot about habits today. Habits start as behavior, and then eventually they become your identity, and then eventually they become your results. So make sure the habits that you have are in alignment with the results that you desire, and I'd say you're going to be in pretty good shape.
Hey, create you some good habits so you can be in excellent shape like my man Kev that go work out all the time. He say don't run up on him because you may have a problem. Hey, this your boy CJ Moneyway with my man Kev from Next Level University. We out of here. Peace.
Ditch the other hiring sites and let ZipRecruiter find what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try it for free at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/work. Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/work. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Thank you for listening to the CJ Moneyway Show. Don't forget to share this episode with your friends, leave a comment, and drop a review. Be sure to tune in every Tuesday and Friday for more inspiring journeys. Who knows? Your story might be next.